Good afternoon. I'm Sean Yao and this is One News Now. President Duterte has appointed his party mate Melvin Matibag as acting cabinet secretary. PDP Laban, where Matibag serves as Secretary General, has confirmed this appointment. In a press release, he vows to fulfill his new role until the remaining months of President Duterte's term. Matibag replaces Carlo Nograles, who was recently appointed as the new chairman of the Civil Service Commission. Senators zeroed in on the ballot printing process today. Marian Enriquez is in Manila to tell us more. Maan, hi, what came up in today's Senate hearing? Anything special?
Yes, Sean, the Senate Committee on Electoral Reforms questioned why the Comelec prohibited political parties and non-government organizations to witness the ballot printing. Helen Flores, Vice Chair of the Printing Committee of Comelec, clarified that there is no definite denial of requests to observe the printing process. Flores said Committee Chair Commissioner Marlon Casquejo only temporarily postponed the observation and will be allowed again soon. Flores explained that the request came when we are still under alert level 2. This did not sit well with senators who said that witnesses should always be present whenever the Comelec is conducting election-related activities. As of now, around 66% of ballots have been printed. A walkthrough is scheduled on March 14. The Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting has requested access to the printing area and to allow live streaming for transparency. Meanwhile, the National Privacy Commission says Comelec servers have not been hacked based on initial findings. However, the agency is still determining Comelec's responsibility on the incident. Sean, senators reiterate that witnesses should be allowed in the actual ballot printing, not just during the one-day walkthrough. The Comelec is also giving updates to the Senate committee's counterpart panel at the House of Representatives. Sean?
Right, thank you so much for that update. Marian Enriquez reporting to us live from Manila. Thanks, Maan. We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. Still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The United States and the United Kingdom are pushing through with plans to ban Russian oil imports. U.S. President Joe Biden announced this ban on Russian oil and other energy imports. This is still in retaliation for Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. Biden said the sanctions imposed by the U.S. and its allies have already caused a dent on the Russian economy.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Putin. Putin may be able to take a city, but he'll never be able to hold the country. And if we do not respond to Putin's assault on global peace and stability today, the cost of freedom and to the American people will be even greater tomorrow.
In a similar move, the United Kingdom will also be phasing out Russian oil and oil products by the end of the year. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said countries have agreed to intensify economic sanctions against Russia.
This is a big step that the world is taking. The level of disgust and outrage, what is happening in Ukraine is mounting around the world, and the noose is tightening on the Putin regime.
And oil giant Shell has also stopped buying Russian oil and gas. Shell says it will change its crude oil supply chain in order to remove volumes from Russia as soon as possible. The company said it will also shut down its service stations in Russia. Finance Chief Sonny Dominguez does not expect the current oil crisis to last long. However, the finance chief admits that our economy could likely be collateral damage in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. One News business editor Regina Lay with the details.
Amid growing calls to suspend fuel excise taxes, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III is taking a measured approach. He told President Duterte at Monday night's cabinet briefing that he doesn't think the oil price issue brought about by the war in Ukraine will last long.
We do not expect this crisis to last very long. However, there may be some lingering effects. The Philippine economy will likely be collateral damage. It is as if we are hit by a ricocheting bullet.
And that's significant because President Duterte largely leaves economic decisions to him. He assured the president that the government will be able to keep inflation to within 2 to 4% this year. Dominguez also told the cabinet that the Philippines is well equipped to weather this crisis, given past experience.
We have seen similar crises in the past, such as the Gulf War in 1990, the Asian financial crisis in 1997, the oil price shock of 2008, and also the first Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2014. And we have weathered all of these crises very well.
Back in October, the Finance Department already shot down the idea of suspending excise taxes. At that time, the Philippines was already suffering several weeks of oil price hikes, but the Russian invasion hadn't happened yet. The DOF argued that we will lose more than 131 billion pesos in revenues if they suspend excise taxes. And that's money that was being used for health care and COVID-19 recovery measures. Because of the extra expenses from the pandemic, the Philippines recorded the largest ever budget deficit last year. And the bigger the deficit, the more the government has to borrow in order to fund programs. Regina Lay, We Are One News.
In other news, the LTFRB has reopened provincial bus routes for inter-regional travel. What this means is that all public bus units can now operate as long as they have a franchise, special permit, or provisional authority.
Pagbukas po ang lahat ng ruta, expectedly lahat po ng mga units nila ay kailangan po na ipalabas na din po nila para magamit sa publiko.
Meanwhile, the agency says that 71 new routes for PUVs will open soon in Metro Manila. House leaders and transport groups have been urging the LTFRB to reopen more routes, as Metro Manila and other areas are already under a more relaxed alert level 1.
May mga binuksan na din po tayo ng may mga dating ruta din po natin, and there are in a few days po, no, or in the coming weeks, there are 71 routes that also will be reopened.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Comelec Bank, including the 3 new appointees, held a hybrid session earlier today. The agenda of this meeting was confidential, but spokesman James Jimenez earlier said that they might tackle the order of appointment, which determines seniority in position. The turnover ceremony of newly appointed chairman Saidamen Pangarungan will be taking place later this afternoon. The Foreign Affairs Department reports at least 63 Filipinos have been repatriated from Ukraine, while some 136 others are still waiting to be evacuated. However, over 100 land-based OFWs still refuse to go home as they don't want to leave their families and employers. And the Health Department targets far-flung areas in its 4th round of the national COVID-19 vaccination drive. The government is aiming to vaccinate 1.8 million Filipinos during this round of the inoculation drive, which is set from March 10 to 12. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.